Hello, coolers, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on two stories. We start with the Spain squad for the World Cup as manager Luis Enrique, of course, named his 26-man list for his squad for the World Cup, and in that list, 7 Barcelona stars have been included. Ansu Fati is also among them in the World Cup squad. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then still talking about Luis Enrique. Of course, the Spain manager wants Sergio Busquets to play another World Cup. And also yesterday, he did explain Ansu Fati's selection. We are also going to be looking at that. So guys, before we get right into it in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Give the video a like and please watch the video right up to the very end. Barca, Barca, Barca. Spain manager Luis Enrique has announced the 26-man squad that he will be taking to the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar, with as many as 7 Barcelona players featuring on the roster. Defender Eric Garcia has been named on the list as expected, along with veteran fullback Jordi Alba. There had been a lot of speculation surrounding Alejandro Balde and his potential inclusion, but that has not materialized, with Enrique picking Jose Gaya as his other left back. Gerard Piqué, who was said to have been named on the provisional squad, is not on the final list, while Marcos Alonso also missed out. Moving into the midfield department, Lucho has called up Sergio Busquets, Pedri and Gavi as expected, with the latter two set to play their first ever FIFA World Cup. But the biggest news is the inclusion of Ansu Fati, who has made it to the final list despite having seen his minutes being regulated this season. Given that he has not been a regular starter following his injury ordeals, there were doubts over his inclusion, but Luis Enrique has decided to take a punt on the young forward. Along with Ansu Fati, fellow forward Ferran Torres also makes the Spain squad for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Along with 7 Barcelona players, the Spain national team also has 2 representatives from Real Madrid in Dani Carvajal and Marco Asensio. La Roja is in Group E, alongside Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan, and begin their World Cup campaign on November 23rd, having crashed out of the group stages of the competition last time out. They will be gunning to make amends and bring back the trophy this time out. So finally, the squad list came out yesterday for the Spain national team. Of course, Enrique named his 26-man short list, as how many countries have been naming theirs over the past few days. The World Cup is just 1 week away, and fans, players can't wait for that tournament. Yesterday, we got to see the full squad list of Spain, something that was much awaited, especially by the Barca fans. And in total, 7 Barca stars appeared on the list. It's something to be proud about. Barcelona, by far the highest club to represent the Spain national team. Real Madrid had just 2 names, Carvajal and Marco Asensio, and the rest from other teams. But Barcelona, of course, dominated that list as widely expected. So it's going to be great to see how, Spain play that World Cup. Ansu Fati's name on that list brought a lot of headlines because there were still contemplations, people were contemplating if actually Ansu Fati will play the World Cup. He was not called in the month of September during the first international break of the season, and reports came out that the youngster was not happy about that. He was feeling sad, and there was that fear that he won't be called for the World Cup. And I can just imagine how happy and joyful he will be to see his name on the final list from Luis Enrique. Alejandro Balde is another name that I definitely thought he might make that list, but unfortunately he did not make the list despite having a good season so far, and of course being the starter at left back at Barca, didn't succeed to make the cut. I think maybe Enrique wants him to get more experience, to play well, And because this is the first time he's even featuring for the senior team to a certain extent, because even though last year Bade played some few games for the senior team, but he was not a regular. So I think, for my own opinion, I think Luis Enrique just want him to keep playing at this level that he is, and maybe the next Euro, maybe the Euro the Nations Cup, he might be there for Spain. And by that time, if he continues being consistent the way he is, definitely he will go and play for the national team for Spain for the very first time. So he will not be traveling to Qatar. Ansu Fati will be there, Gavi, Pedri, who all will be playing their very first World Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how these youngsters, how they play their first World Cup, how they perform. It will be interesting to see. Then on to the next story of discussion. Spain manager Luis Enrique released the final list of the 26 players he will be taking to the FIFA World Cup, and he has named as many as 7 Barcelona players in the squad that will represent La Roja in Qatar and look to win the tournament again after their 2010 triumph. The 7 Barcelona players included in the squad are Sergio Busquets, Pedri, Gavi, Eric Garcia, Jordi Alba, Ferran Torres, and Ansu Fati. Busquets, who will be captaining Spain at the World Cup, is the only player in the squad who was part of the World Cup winning side in 2010. At 34, the veteran midfielder is in the final phase of his career and is likely to leave Barca at the end of the season, but Enrique wants Busquets to continue playing at the international level and plans to convince the midfielder to play another World Cup. He said, "My goal is to convince Busquets to play another World Cup. I am not joking. I don't see a better pivot in the world than Busquets for our system," the Spain national team coach said in the press conference after announcing the squad. There had been a lot of doubt over Ansu Fati's inclusion in the squad heading up to the World Cup, as he's been eased back into action at Barca after an injury-riddled couple of years. Enrique admitted that the young forward's inclusion was one of the doubts he had until the very final hour, but ultimately decided to back the 20-year-old. He said, "It had been one of the doubts until the last minute. We bet on him before others. Ansu's level is unquestionable. He has gone through a difficult process. I had doubts until the last moment. The hope that I have in recovering the best version of Ansu has influenced me. Is he close? Let's see. Watching him train, I'll see. At Barca, he has played more, but he hasn't become a fixture because of the competition there." On naming as many as 7 Barca players in the squad, Enrique said, I don't look at what club are from, nor do I intend to base myself on a team. I don't look at the number of players from each club and age, etc., etc. I look at the values that we ask for to compete in our team. On Gerard Piqué, he said, "Piqué was on the pre-list because when I gave it, he was an active player and one of the best centre-backs. He finished last season injured, competing with his team. Of course, he's a competitive machine. When I give that list, the idea is that the continuity, but it is a list of 55. There were other veterans who could have, no doubt, could perform well." So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.